Thank you, Mark. And it's lovely to see all your faces. I'm just having a good look round the screen, that sense of togetherness of being in this room together. Can you hear me all right? Yeah, great. Okay. So today I wanted to start by just sharing something that has been on my wall in my meditation room for so long, I've stopped noticing it. And then I started noticing it again. And it's from Bereshit. And it feels to me like a way into the practice, a way that I can approach my practice. So this is none other than the house of the One. And this is the gateway to heaven. Ein ze ki im beit Elohim, v'zeh sha'ar hashamayim. Ein ze ki im beit Elohim, v'zeh sha'ar hashamayim. And the reason I wanted to share it is to open to that sense of this practice being a gateway, if we want to look at it like that, the preciousness of our practice. It's no small thing that we're doing coming together like this. And I know that I can lose sight of that. So and today I wanted to look at grounding. That could be the focus in our practice, and a sense of really coming to the ground, that resource that's always here. So let's just take a moment to settle. We're taking our time to settle. You know, kindness and curiosity. Is this body comfortable and upright? Are the legs comfortable and the shoulders? So really making this settling a gesture of kindness. We could start by taking a couple of really deep breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. And allowing the breath to bring us to where we are. Excuse me. Just to bring us to this moment, this experience. This precious being sitting here. And when we're ready, just opening to this experience of having a body. All the pulsing and digesting and work organs are doing, and completely without us asking them. It's just all happening. Can we open to the miracle of this? Obviously, I've been thinking of miracles with Hanukkah so recent, and thinking that in our family we had a little present every night, just a small present. And I wonder if we can look at the body in this way, all its little bits that just function. The knees, the elbows, the skull, are all little miracles. We're just opening to that sense of this body. However we feel about it, with all its aches and pains. And coming now to the sit bones as we sit on our surface, the chair, sofa, the floor, the cushion, and that sense of contact of the sit bones with the surface. That weightiness of the lower body. The solidity of this contact with the earth. The sit bones, the legs, and the feet on the floor or cross-legged. Just noticing the contact, the bottom of the feet with the surface. Noticing the distance of the lower body from the head, the brain, the area where all our thoughts and patterns and emotions are. Actually, just noticing the distance. We come into the lower body, perhaps open to a sense of space from all the stuff that goes on in the mind. So staying with the lower body as our anchor. You may even want to imagine we're breathing from the lower body. Its weightiness on the earth, like the roots of a tree going down into the earth. and noticing where the mind is pushing or pulling us, all the directions, patterns, past and future. Oh, not that again. And remembering it's all welcome, it's all okay. And just coming back to that sense of the lower body. Noticing any judgments that may be arising. Oh, I'm not good at this. Oh, my mind's all over the place. Gently and kindly, it's coming back to that weighty lower body, sense of rootedness. And if we find that the mind is pulled in many directions, you may want to just repeat the word zot, just this, and come back to the lower body. Zot. Noticing changes, shifts in temperature or texture, aches and pains that might move around the lower body. Just noticing and coming back to the whole experience of the lower body. And for the last few minutes of our practice, we're just going to imagine a little being in front of us. It could be a baby, or it could be a little animal like a puppy or a kitten, or perhaps a bud that has got the potential to become a beautiful flower. Just taking a bit of time to imagine this being. It's a pure relationship, not a complicated one. We just wish them well. We just wish this being well. So just imagining it and offering our good wishes silently. May you be blessed. May you be held with love. May you be blessed. May you be held with love. Just gently offering to this tiny being. And then if it feels comfortable, we can just turn that gentle well-wishing towards ourselves, this precious being. May I be blessed. May I be held with love. We may want to touch a part of our body, if that feels right or not. May I be blessed. May I be held with love. So coming now to the end of our practice, and just taking our time to come back into the room, and really making this a gesture of love and kindness to ourselves by taking that time to open the eyes and perhaps change the view on the screen, and coming back into the space we're sharing together. And I'll hand over to Mark.
Thank you so much, Miri. What a beautiful, peaceful, soothing practice to bring us into Shabbat together. Thank you so much. Friends, let's all stay present for another few moments to support those of us who are in mourning or observing a yard site, or for whom it's the custom to join in the mourner's Kaddish. Thanks to Natalie for sharing the words of the Kaddish on the screen. If you are honoring anybody in particular today, please put their name or names in the chat now or after we recite Kaddish. And if you're joining me, please rise in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yitgadal, Yitdash, Rabba, Yamad, Shmei Rabba Mavarach, Barach, Yabash, Ard, Mam, Aseh, Adar, Yitalel, Ed, Yishalal,
May
Shemay,
the peace of God
Ela
go with you.
minimum
Elash,
Shivata
Shata, V'Shivata, V'Shira, V'Nechama, V'Yira, Ima, V'Iyir, Ishlama, Rabba, Nishmaya, Chaim, Aleinu, V'Yokach Yisrael, V'Yimich,
Shalom b'mama
Shalom B'Mamaya,
v'chol Israel v'chol
Yisrael,
Amen.
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 Friends, thanks so much for joining us today. And if you're leaving us now, I want to wish you Shabbat Shalom and hope you have a good, sweet, and restorative Shabbat, and that today's practice helps you guide your way into that. I put in the chat our lineup of teachers for next week. Wonderful lineup of teachers. We hope you'll join us for any or all of our sessions next week. And we hope to see you soon. Shabbat Shalom to you. And you are, of course, welcome to stay on. And if you're so moved, you can just continue to sit with us and use Miri's beautiful guidance today to ground you in a little bit of Shabbat practice. And you might a little bit of a Musaf offering. You can stay on, turn off the sound on your device, and please just sit with us or join us for conversation about today's practice or to share your reflections in the chat. If you have a question you'd like to ask Miri, please put it in the chat and preface it by writing question, all in caps. Thanks to Natalie, as always, for holding our space beautifully and guiding us into Shabbat together. So Miri, let's bring you in. And thank you so much. What a was a really wonderful offering and guidance. Like I said, very soothing, very gentle, and very just what the doctor ordered. A very challenging week over here in the States. And it seems, unfortunately, that there is more in store. So thank you so much for helping ground us today. Of course, any of you who are joining us from Southern California want to send you all some special love today as well and support from all of us. And whoever's raising your hand, our practice is not to unmute in this section. So if you have a question or something you'd like to share, please put it in the chat. Could you please repeat the phrase used at the beginning of the set, which maybe I missed? I'm not sure. Jude is asking. Do you remember what?
Yes.
Yes.
It is Ein ze ki im beit Elohim.
Oh yeah.
Hashemayim.
Right.
This is none other than the house of the one, and this is the gateway to heaven.
Yes.
This.
Yeah. Right. Good, because that's what I want. I wanted to start our conversation there with this. And when you then picked up on the word this, just this, it is a great encapsulation of mindfulness practice in general, secular, spiritual, whatever. And it has powerful resonance, I think, in part in Jewish mystical tradition, because the word zot, this in Hebrew, is in Kabbalistic Jewish mystical tradition, is associated with the Shekhinah, with the divine presence. And the divine presence is associated with the last of the Sfirot in the Kabbalistic tree of life, Malchut. And that Sphira is also associated with Shabbat. So I thought, wow, this is really just the perfect meditation to bring us into Shabbat, because the idea of this, as you said, being the gateway to heaven, is a perfect cue for us to shift from whatever our other mode of being is into Shabbat mode. I wanted to, the fact also that we're coming to the end of the book of Genesis, it's the end of the week, another challenging week. I guess I wanted to invite you, there's a question at the end of this, which is, I want to invite you to elaborate a little bit on this, on how you understand that, and whether something, I guess it felt to me almost as if, well, that's all the teaching we need. It's about this, just this, just this. And then you invited us to, explore sensation and the body and what's happening in a receptive mode, right? Like notice how all this is happening on its own without any effort on our part. I guess I'm reflecting on why I've experienced your teaching as so conducive to a kind of Shabbat practice. Anyway, that's a
Mm.
lot from me. That's my response to your beautiful teaching. Anything you'd
Mm.
want to add or elaborate on?
Mm. Yeah. I do think that, it's the coming back to the just this that seems so simple. And for all of us, it can be so challenging and so easy to forget. And for me, it's like the idea of touching the mezuzah, or to have a talit to touch, and or whatever we do, to just that coming back. It's the practice of beginnings. It's to remembering this is always a practice of beginnings.
Mhm.
And it's really okay if we go off a million miles and we're we're in pain and struggling and distracted. Zot, we can always come back and begin again. And that is the practice. That actually is the practice. So I suppose, interested in what you said, Mark, about Shabbat and the coming into Shabbat. I guess for me, the whole concept of Shabbat, in a way, is just this, isn't it?
Right.
That,
Yes. Keep going.
and to
Sorry.
be given that opportunity
Mhm.
to have just this. It's like it's a mini retreat, isn't it? I don't know
Exactly.
if
Exactly. That's why I thought. That's why I'm just reflecting. It took me a while to articulate it, but I think that's what I was really trying to say. Like, it was like this is kind of a quintessential Shabbat practice. And I'm also thinking about like what is the contrast of this? I don't know if it's that, but that is a very different mode of being than this, which strikes me as receptive of what is, as opposed to that which is brings up the sentences that come out of that word are, well, what about that? And it's external as opposed to receiving, which is why the connections were clicking in my mind of Zot, this Shechin, which means is a name of God, which is fantastic. This has come up several times in teachings on our daily sit, that the word Zot is an actual name for the divine in Jewish tradition. That's a game changer for many people, right? And by the way, I put the link to the verse, which is back from Parshat Vayetze, when Jacob, the phrase that you quoted, it's in for those who want to dig in a little bit more. In that verse, the word is zeh, which is the masculine form, but zot, the feminine form, is the word that's associated with Shekhinah or Malchut, the feminine, the aspect of the divine, and Shabbat. So it was just soothing. It was just like that was what was soothing about it, hearing you say that word repeatedly. Just this, just this.
and you know what
Um,
I think?
yeah,
Oh,
go ahead. No, please.
sorry, English way. Um, and that actually, I'm not sure there it is a this and a that.
Hmm.
That actually we can bring that spirit of Shabbat, or not exactly of Shabbat because that's special, but it doesn't need to be a version. We don't need to push away
Hmm.
any of that. It's like we can open and embrace everything. There's no doesn't need to be a separation. So I
Right.
just wanted to make
Yes,
that.
thank you. I guess that's also articulating as when I'm trying to play with this distinction between this and that, is that there is that the word that has a separate, has a objectifying, distancing connotation. It's that over there, or it's as opposed to this, which is about presence, about experiencing a sense of presence, and especially in a time when many of us are feeling. I don't know how it is over in your neck of the woods, but so many of us are struggling, with what we're able to control, what we're not able to control right now. Um, that being able to find support in small bites like this is so essential. So that was a real gift. And then shifting, maybe we could talk a little bit about the little bit of meta practice or blessing practice that you offered at the end, with the little baby, or the, something that was an uncomplicated recipient of our intention, right? Want to invite you actually to elaborate, maybe if you would, a little bit on that too, about why you described it that way, as opposed to just kind of generally sending out well wishes. Um,
Mm. Mm.
uh, and also, you describe it as an uncomplicated relationship. That seemed like a very good starting point, but I'm wondering, in terms of your process with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hmm, radiating blessing, metta, love is quite a big ask. It can be quite a big ask, and also absorbing it as well.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not, that this wasn't really the focus in this practice wasn't
Right,
that.
right.
In a way, we came into it cold at the end, not cold, but we came into it at the end of the practice just to take us into Shabbat as an offering for ourselves, really. And when we start with that pure, uncomplicated, simple well wishing, I think it gives us access to the quality that we want to open to. And it can be quite, it's not always easy for everyone to just open and tap into love.
No,
Really, often
no.
it feels very
No, but you
inaccessible.
were right that babies, evoke that for us. I don't know. I've never met a baby that didn't elicit that kind of response. So it taps into something. I guess what I'm saying is, I really appreciated that. And just to bring things to a close in terms of Shabbat, it struck me that your practice, this zot, or this practice, is a fantastic practice for us for candle lighting. When we light candles, if we can, bring that back up, and as a conscious, intentional way of shifting from, the kind of um, transactional way of being in the world to a different mode of being receptive and receiving the light of the Shabbat candles, that Dayenu, that's a great start. And then we have the tradition of blessing loved ones, including ourselves. So the blessing practice that you offered, and what you just said about how that practice settles us down and makes it possible for us to access that love, what for others and for ourselves, I thought was, I'm going to use that tonight. So thank you very much. Um, and lots of good healing energy in the chat for Harris, our friend, who's recovering from an Achilles tear, adding to that love, and for all of you who are in need of it. Miri, really lovely to have you.
Really,
Lots of appreciation in the chat to you, and we'll hope you see you back here to lead us again. Um, Many thanks to Natalie for holding our space. Many thanks to each of you for being here. Looking forward to a full week of meditation practice next week. Once again, as I mentioned, and Shabbat Shalom to all. May it be a restorative. May all who are in harm's way be safe, and may the fire subside, and send our support as well to all those who are caring for and combating the fires. And we look forward to being back with everyone next Monday. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Miri. Thank you so much.